Today is March the 6th, 2021. I am in Banister Tavern this morning. My goal today is to remove all of my chair rail molding and baseboard throughout the Revolutionary period side of the house, the 1700s, 1770s, 1780s side of the home, the tavern. So I want to pull all this down this morning, get everything labeled, and my door frames, I'm going to wait till my helper and my friend Ivan's back with me, and his dad, Jason. I think instead of disassembling my door frames, what I plan on doing is just taking everything loose from the floor joist up here and keeping all this intact. That way I don't risk busting any of this beautiful joinery work, damaging these door frames. So I think I'm gonna take it down as a whole. I'll do the same over here probably as well. This door frame here and door sills, again, this section being the part of the house that has the majority of the damage and rot, this is all going to have to be rebuilt. So I'll know more about that once I start pulling at it, disassembling it to see if it's too far gone. Now I will show you, I think I've documented this in the past, the foyer has got this beautiful reeded work throughout the foyer. So this chair rail molding is absolutely exquisite. I mean, it's just beautifully done. It was a nice showcase. So when you entered the tavern, you had this this beautiful reed work throughout the chair rail molding in this section of the house. It's the only section of the house that has this touch. Really nice 45 cuts throughout the chair rail molding. Unlike upstairs, that was all lapped. There was no 45 cuts in the chair rail molding or the baseboard upstairs. So that's my goal this morning. I'm going to get to it. I'll show you here in just a second. These huge nails, these big cut nails they use to do this, with a little finesse when you're doing this, these come apart fairly easily. You just want to be careful that you don't bust this dry lumber. I mean, this is early pine. It's extremely brittle. It's had 240 years, 220 years to dry out. So you just want to be careful when you're pulling this apart. So I'm going to take a moment just to document how this progress is coming along. So I've gotten the chair rail molding down from that side of the room under the stairwell, the back part of the house. Thank goodness there's no major rot in that top piece. This is down, and then here leading around into the Georgian period of the house, and then leading out onto the porch. And there's 501 right there as it comes into play and you see a car go by. So I want to show you how incredible the craftsmen were back in the day. All right, so this beautiful reeded chair rail molding is actually in 6 pieces. And you can see your joints and your cuts all through here. Now, the top of the chair rail, this is where I've labeled it. The top of the chair rail, they did 45s. The actual meat, the heart of it here, the center of it right here, the heart of it, it's all coping. So they coped these cuts, you can see there. So they were flush up against the wall. And then they did 45s with their bottom and their top. Now, a little trick that I've been doing so I don't damage any of this, to take this apart, and I probably could use a better tool than this, but this, I'm gonna try to get down in here. All right, so there's one of my early blacksmith nails right there. Yep. So it's really hard to drive these away from the wall when they're right up against the wall, or there's another chair rail opposing it. So I'm cutting them with a chisel, and you just have to be real careful about it. I'm gonna try to do it with one hand. Probably won't be able to, but so I'm cutting those nails, sorry about that. I'm cutting those nails from the back with a chisel, so I don't take any chance of busting this lumber, getting these 45s in a really bad pinch on the way out and causing anything to splinter. So I'm being careful here. So I've almost got all this reeded chair rail down in the foyer, and then I'll start on my baseboards. but just wanted to show you my progress and just the absolutely amazing carpentry work. I mean, the skill that individuals possessed back in the day without any electric tools. It's mind-boggling. So beautiful chair rail molding. I'm so excited, and I can find a lot of the original pigmentation under some of this, and that is something that I plan on doing with this house. Is I've already collected a bunch of samples of plaster that I'm going to send to Colonial Williamsburg, and they will do they will analyze each piece. They'll tell me what color the pigmentation was, the first color of this house. And I'm gonna do the same thing with my woodwork. All you do is you take a razor blade and you get a small slither of wood and you capture your paint with it and send that in. And again, they can tell me what color things were. The first layer of paint in this home. And I hope it's a color I like, because that's the plan that Shannon and I are going to repaint this when we put it back up. So let me get back at it. I just wanted to show you how far along I am. So nearly 4 hours have passed since I began down here this morning, pulling up my baseboard and my chair rail molding in the foyer area. So I've completed that task. That was my goal. I got down here this morning, had a terrible migraine headache. It progressively got worse as the day went along, eating all the dust in this place, but I'm gonna call it a day. So I've accomplished my goal. If you look down here, you'll see all the chair rail molding and baseboard that I pulled down. The chair rail molding, I absolutely love. The craftsmanship of the carpentry work was just incredible. It's a 6-piece chair rail. It's coped and has 45s as well in the corners. So just incredible craftsmanship, but really, really neat stuff. So anyway, so all this is done. So I am calling this, and this is for my documentation for if I lose my notes when I start putting this house back together. This is Revolutionary Rev Room B. The foyer is Room B. The larger room is Room A. Downstairs and upstairs is what I'm calling these two, even though it's the main floor. So all of this has been labeled here. I accomplished some in the larger room in the Revolutionary part of the house. Got down some chair rail molding and baseboard here. Excuse me. Keep finding more and more rot as I pull stuff up. I suspected as much. I'm just praying that once the floors come up, that it's not going to be so much rot that this house can't be rebuilt. I'm concerned that I may have to actually use all new material to build this house and then just recreate it and then use the flooring that's available, the chair rail molding, window frames, doors, etc. But I keep finding more rot the more I dig. Let's just walk in here. In the Georgian part of the house, Ivan and I, a couple of days ago, opened the firebox up. There it is. Extremely shallow little firebox. Somebody poured a concrete hearth in front of it. But real shallow. It had ash probably up to here on the inside that had just fallen down over the years from the wood stoves, and nobody bothered to clean it out. Amazing. The place never caught on fire. I can't believe it didn't have a chimney fire. And I have been looking at a house in Cumberland that I'm buying all the floors out of. That same time period house, really neat little house, very similar to this in lots of ways, including its rot. That one is too far gone. Every floor joist to the entire main floor, you can run a screwdriver through. Upstairs has some beautiful floor joists that are all beaded on the ends. And there's a summer kitchen that's attached to the house with the dog trot now. So I'm trying to save the summer kitchen and then salvage a lot of the materials out of the house, which I'm going to need because my rot in my floors is extensive. There's some over in here. This little house leaked a lot, I guess, over the years. So anyway, I'm done for the day. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back down here soon to pull the rest of my baseboard and chair rail molding down on the other two rooms. And then when I've got my help back down here, we're gonna start pulling chimneys down. So thank you very much. See you soon.